in this life, the most powerful thing you can do is not care. Period. If there's one skill to learn this year, it is to become unbothered. To become unbothered what others do or what others think of you. The only person that you should worry about what they think, that is you. You're telling me you're letting some girl from school or some random uncle or some girl from your work dictate what you do and how you show up in your life? You're telling me you're holding yourself back and becoming the best version of yourself and living your best life because some rando has thoughts about it? No, 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 no. This stops now. Welcome to my channel because I'm helping you to become the ultimate hot girl. The ultimate hot girl, guess what? Is unbothered, is detached, does not care. The energy of attachment that you probably currently have now, that is needy and that is pathetic and that is not sexy and not attractive. The energy of neediness is literally repulsive to people. The energy of detachment, the energy of what hot girls have, that is magnetic. So in this video, we'll learn how hot girls who are truly unbothered have mastered the energy of detachment. First of all, let's clear up that detachment doesn't mean that you don't have any emotions or that you're totally indifferent. It means that you're being in control of your emotions. Your feelings are not controlling you. You are in control of your feelings. You have the power. Detachment is so powerful because it will give you so much confidence, and confidence is what is magnetic to other people. So here are some signs that you are not unbothered and that you are actually quite attached. You're overthinking a lot of things that you say or do. You're always worrying when you are in social interactions what other people might think of you. It is hard for you to really be authentically yourself because you think yourself and the way you are is not enough for other people. And they might judge you, they might find you cringy, they might have really negative thoughts about who you are. So you're always trying to be someone that you're not, or you're holding back a lot of your own personality. You don't really feel like you can show your true personality. And guess what? That is super draining. And that is why you might come from a social interaction, or you might come from work or from school or from college, wherever, and you feel really drained because you're not able to actually be yourself. And one specific thing, especially women have this, and this is such a problem, you are really holding back and you are worried of risks because you are worried of what other people's judgments might be. So maybe you do want to be a content creator, but it's really hard for you to put yourself out there on the internet for other people to see you, what other people in school might think of you or in your circle of friends or in your family, because you are worried of their judgment, that they will laugh about you, that they will make jokes, that they think you're cringy. And that is so anxiety inducing for you that you're not actually attempting what you truly want to attempt. Maybe it's small things, wearing certain clothes that you really want to wear, but you're too worried about what people might think of you when you suddenly change your style or are a little bit bolder with your style. So you're always suppressing your own desires because you are super worried about judgment from others. And we're going to stop this because this is not the life that you're going to live. So these are the following attributes that hot girls have mastered in order to be super unbothered, and you're going to master these too. One thing that hot girls really realize is that most people are actually too bothered with themselves in order to judge you. So we often think that people judge us, or that they sit in bed at night and think about that social media post that you did and think, oh my god, that girl is so cringy. But actually, fact is that people don't actually care as much as you think they do. People honestly care about themselves. People are always concerned with how they look, yeah? So people would probably sit at night in their bed and think about how other people would judge them rather than they sitting in bed judging other people. This is called the spotlight effect, when people think that the spotlight is on you and everybody is like, oh my god, what is this person doing? But no one really cares. And everybody thinks their spotlight is on them. So everybody just runs around in the world thinking that everybody is looking at them. No one is actually looking at you. And people who are actually looking at you and judging you and sitting in bed at night and judging you, these are really sad people who have no life. So first of all, you need to be aware of that you're not as important as you think you are. And I find this so freeing when I understand that people are really just always worried about themselves. Another thing that hot girls do is they don't really sweat the small stuff. So they really think about, will this really matter in 5 years? Will this social media post that I did, or will this outfit that I wore, or will this one thing that I said at an event that maybe was a little bit weird, will this really matter in 5 years? It probably won't. Think about really embarrassing things that you maybe done in the past, or things where you felt really cringy. Do they really matter now? I don't even remember other cringy things that I've done. They in the past and I just forgot about them. Zone out of the moment and be like, is this actually a big deal? Maybe it's cringy for like 5 seconds and then afterwards no one actually thinks about it anymore. And if people still think about it after years, I mean, that's really on them. There's something missing in their life that they still have to think about that. Everything that people think of you is a reflection on them. Whatever someone says to you, whether that is a family member, a friend, a colleague, some rando on the internet, it's always a reflection of them and their belief system, their experiences, their little bubble that they're in, and they're just projecting it onto you. It has nothing to do with you. When there are haters on the internet, or when I say something like, oh, skinny girl summer, and someone is like, skinny is such a horrible word, it has nothing to do with me. That is something that you have to deal with, girlie. Like, I'm just saying words here. Like, whatever happens there, whatever you think, that is your personal issue that you need to deal with. You can go to a party and there will be people who won't like you and there will be people who like you. Even the people who like you only like you because you have something that they are projecting onto you. So it doesn't really matter. You just need to show up as yourself and you're gonna be a magnet to your people, and you do want to be actually a repellent to other people that are not meant for you. So that's why it's so important that you start showing up as yourself and be okay with people not liking you. You can only filter out the right people for you if you're truly yourself. So see you just being yourself as a filter mechanism, and you showing up in your true power as a filter mechanism and as a protection to keep the people away from you that are not meant for you. Hot guys also have this energy shift where they understand that confidence is about what you think of yourself and not what other people think of you. That is a huge energy shift when you go internal and really think about, what do I actually think about myself? Do I like the clothes that I'm wearing? Do I like the way I talk to people? Do I like the way I show up in the world? What you really want is the validation from other people so you can feel good enough about yourself. And we all love some validation from outside. We feel good when we get compliments and when we feel validated. That should not be how you build your self-esteem, by what other people think, because that is so fragile. It can be a bonus if someone says something nice, can be like, yeah, great, but you still need to validate yourself. That is the most important validation. And for that, you need to get to the place where you like yourself. If you don't like yourself and you always minimize yourself and you're always self-deprecating with self-deprecating humor and you're always putting yourself down, that is not cute. That is not funny. That is actually destroying your self-esteem and destroying your self-confidence. To look in the mirror and be like, hey, I look good, I'm cute, I like myself. And that will also trigger other people, because that will trigger people who are more insecure and who cannot really be like that. And that's why women who are really in their power and who are confident, they trigger insecure men and they trigger other insecure women, because we want women to stay small and to dim their light. But you're not going to do that. Hot girls have options. They live in abundance. They believe in limitless opportunities. Think about dating. You're gonna be super attached to this one guy, or you are in this, like, this was me back in the day when I was younger, being in this like toxic relationship. I was not in an abundance mindset. I thought if I leave this relationship, I will never ever find someone again. But I was very attached, because what is really truly meant for you will just stay with you without you needing to force it. So what hot girls do is they have this mindset of, there are loads of options. If this guy is not for me, someone else is just around the corner. And that energy makes you feel so free, it makes you feel so at ease. And this is how you manifest things into your life, when you're just completely detached from the outcome. I have a video on how I manifested everything, and I'm really good at manifesting flats, for example. I've lived in different cities, and in every city that I move in, I'm always so lucky with my flats. I always find the flats exactly that I want. And the reason for that is that I'm completely detached from the outcome. Sometimes I look at a flat and I'm like, oh, I really want this flat. And then I don't get it, and then I'm like, this flat was not meant for me. Yes, I loved it, and you can still be disappointed. You need to let it go, and there's always something better around the corner, something that is truly meant for you, and you need to trust it. This is a trust process. That is the detachment, the feeling of something else is coming, and you feel grounded and you feel calm. Hot girls who are unbothered, they are in love with the journey and the growth, instead of just being super obsessed with getting to the result, getting the goal. Maybe that is weight loss, maybe that is is making more money, maybe that is dating. You just need to be in love with the experience of the journey and the growth that you experience by going through this journey and having the challenge of the journey. The journey will always be a little bit challenging. That is the purpose of growth. So what they do is, in order to stay detached from the result, you have action-oriented goals. Result-oriented focus is really hard to control, but what you can control is the action, how you show up. You maybe not be able to control to lose 10 kilos in a certain amount of time, but you can control how you eat every day, how you move every day, what you put into your body, and just do this over a consistent period of time. You cannot control how fast you grow on social media, but you can control to be consistent with your output, or being a bit more creative with your editing. These are all things that you can control. So you have to focus on action goals instead of result goals. And the result will come the more action you obviously put in, the more effort you put in. And this brings me to the next attribute of how hot girls stay unbothered. That is to focus on what you can control and not focus so much on what is out of your control. You cannot control another person. This is creating so much frustration for you if you try to control your mother, your father, your partner, your best friend, the coworker that is annoying. You cannot control these people. You cannot decide how they behave. You need to learn to not have expectations on other people, and especially don't really communicate their expectations and just think that they should know. People have their own life and they will just do what they want to do. They're their own person. And if you really realize that and you give them the freedom to be who they are, you can control how you react. I've been through this with a family member of mine where I was like, oh, I wish this person would just be different and would do things how I want them to be done. And it's so frustrating when you always want another person to be a certain way and they're just not that way. Especially with family members, you cannot really get rid of them. I mean, yes, you can stop contact, but obviously you don't want that either. So you just need to get to a point where you're like, okay, I cannot control this person, but I can control how I react to that person or how I behave. And maybe I just accept the person for who they are. That is your option. Or I set really strict boundaries and I limit contact with this person. Don't let other people have the remote control over your feelings. When you're trying to control other people and you cannot do it, they will have the remote control of how you feel. What hot girls do in order to stay unbothered is they are really fully self-reliant. You need to rely on yourself, not to rely on other people to be happy, not to rely on other people to have money. You need to be able to do things for you. You need to become self-reliant in every area of your life. This will give you so much strength. This will give you so much confidence. Because if you are not self-reliant and you have these expectations and these needs from others, you are not gonna be detached. You are not gonna be unbothered. You're gonna be very bothered because you are depending on that and you don't want to depend on another person. And especially for women, this is so important. You need to be able to make your own money. You need to be able to love yourself, to create the self-validation within yourself. You need to have your own back and you need to be able to take care of yourself. They don't react, they just let go and they are compassionate. When someone is nasty to you, or when someone says something that is out of line, it's really important that you stop reacting. It's hard. I'm a temperamental girly and there are still people where I just go, I'm not perfect. I'm still working on this, but I got so much better by understanding to see the situation in a different light. When it comes to haters on the internet, for example, like trolls, I think it's so important to always come from this place of compassion and like thinking about this person must be really unhappy to be taking time out of their day to like troll the internet, maybe even do fake accounts, be nasty to other people, or having these like snark Reddit pages on the internet. That tells me a lot about that person because I would not have time for that. For me, these people are very deeply unhappy, unfulfilled people, and they obviously project that to other people. You're a sad individual. And then I'm like, goodbye, let go, block. In order to stay unbothered, you need to understand that you are not responsible for other people's feelings. It is not your responsibility to make other people feel comfortable, to feel good, to feel happy. All of that is not your responsibility. Don't hold back the way you are and the way you want to show up in the world because you are worried that other people will feel unease. That is what happens when people are triggered. They feel uncomfortable, they feel unsafe, something is happening. You are up leveling and they cannot really handle that and they try to pull you down. Everybody is responsible for their own feelings and to feel comfortable, to feel safe, to feel happy. It goes the other way as well. Like no one else is responsible to make you happy. Your growth is challenging their comfort zone. You're not here to make them feel feel comfortable. You are here to live your best life. And that will make people uncomfortable. That is what you need to feel okay with, that people will feel triggered and that people will feel uncomfortable when you are up leveling. Channel your inner unbothered hot girl. And finally, you can do like this one exercise that helps you to like really become unbothered. And that is just to write down options that you have. You need to expand your brain and make your brain aware of abundance. And your brain will probably tell you, for example, in dating, oh, you'll never ever find a guy again. Like, this is the only guy. You need to poke holes in the stories that you tell yourself. Your brain will tell you stories and it will present them as facts, but they're not facts. You need to write down and be like, is this actually true? How is this not true? Remember, your uniqueness is your superpower. Your uniqueness is your magnetism. And the people who are not meant for you, they will not like you, and they don't have to like you, because your people will love you. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to watch this video next, because this will also help you to be a confident, badass, hot girl.